What's going on, everybody? Chadley here, back with another Borderlands 3 video. And with the new Heist DLC, we got a new class mod for Flak. And I was actually really excited about this class mod, so I really wanted to test it out and just see all of its bonuses and what it can do for us. And if you guys don't know, that class mod is St4ckbot. Whenever Flak scores a critical hit, they gain increased weapon damage until they don't score a critical hit. This affects stacks. So it does not specify a stack limit, so we didn't know if there was actually a stack limit, and we also don't know how much this actually boosts our weapon damage with every crit. So I went ahead and just sat here on Handsome Jack, and I used this TDR pistol with 0 skills. The only skills we have are coming from St4ckbot itself. Hunter's Eye does not work on Handsome Jack, so we do not have to worry about that. And then the Fast and the Furious, I went ahead and got myself down below half health, so we're not getting any bonuses from that. So with this TDR pistol of 613 damage, the reason why I picked this one is just because it's a low number, and that way we don't have to worry about any rounding really taking place. So we're going to get very precise numbers and see exactly what this class mod is going to do for us. Also to note, I do have Guardian ranks for crit damage and gun damage. Unfortunately, I can't turn that off, but luckily that will be the exact same for every test. And also, I did wait over a second, so we did not get the bonus gun damage for combo. So just keep that in mind. So I went ahead, and to find the stack limit, I just sat here, shot Handsome Jack until I did not see a weapon damage increase anymore. And that actually ended up being at 100 stacks exactly. So I'm actually really impressed that we got 100 stacks out of this. I was not expecting them to actually let us stack it this high, especially in practical scenarios. Hitting 100 crits in a row is very, very unlikely. Maybe with a Shredifier and max duration Gorillas in the Mist, maybe you could get 100 shots off, but I doubt it. So that part is really nice to me. Then while finding the stack limit, I was recording how much damage I was doing for each crit. And on our first crit, we actually did 1,582 damage. And then on our second crit, we did 1,661. That was a 79 point increase. And then on our third crit, we did 1,740. That too was a 79 point increase. And this ended up going through all the way to 100 stacks. It was completely linear. Every time, it actually would take 5% of our first crit. So right now, our first crit is doing 1582, just like my original test. And so what it's going to do is take 5% of that number and add it for every single crit. So it's not actually the previous crit that it's being added to. So right now that's 1661. It's not 5% of that. It is the 1582. 5% of that is added for every single crit, all the way down to 100, and then it caps out. Here you guys can see the graph, and like I said, it is completely linear all the way from the first crit up to 100, and then it flatlines. I did 10 extra shots, and it did not boost up. I was thinking maybe after 100 it would bump up every 10 stacks, but it did not. So I'm going to definitely assume it's going to stay flatlined. Anything over 100, even if you get to 200, I'm sure it will be exactly the same as 100. Then just to make sure it was actually 5% of that first crit damage that was being added, I ended up using this Sure Shot pistol to test that. And as you guys can see from the graph, it is completely linear, and it ended up being another 5% increase in damage for every crit. Our first crit did 2,307, and then our second crit did 2,422. It ended up being 4.98%, but there's obviously some rounding involved, and it's going to end up being 5%. So for those first tests, the only thing influencing extra damage was the class mod itself. Now, I wanted to see if that 5% was added to like the base weapon damage or your total damage that you do, including like with all your skills and such. So what I did is I got full health, so we have the Fast and the Furriest actually giving us 25% extra gun damage. And I went ahead and shot Handsome Jack here a couple times, and I'll reset my crits here. And as you guys can see, our first shot is going to do 1977, and then our next shot is going to do 2056. This ends up being a 79 damage increase, which is the exact same as when we had Fast and Furious like not actually taking effect. So unfortunately, that 5% is just based off your weapon damage. Then just to make sure that 5% bonus was not exclusive to pistols, I'm going to try it here with the craters. So we're going to reset our crits. So our first crit is going to do 2,273. And then our next crit is going to do 2,386. And that, once again, is a 4.97% increase. So obviously with some rounding involved, that ends up being a 5% as well. So whatever gun you're using, it's going to add 5% from that first crit damage that you end up getting. So this could still work pretty well with some slow firing weapons that deal a ton of damage. I was thinking St4ckbot was only going to be useful with fast firing weapons, and while it definitely benefits them more, you can still get a pretty good increase on slow firing high damage weapons. Another thing you guys should know about the St4ckbot is that to reset the crits, it only resets if you hit somebody for a non-crit. If you completely miss, you can keep your stacks. So right now, let's just show that we have our crit stacks reset. So right now, let's go ahead and shoot him a couple times. We'll get it up to 1740 there. So we're gonna go ahead and shoot a couple times. We can shoot a bunch of times and miss. And now we're probably gonna do over 1,800 damage right here. Yep, 1819. And you can just keep missing and going back, and we're gonna do like 1900 here, basically. It will only reset if you hit them in a non-crit spot, and now we can see we're back down to 1582. The next thing I wanted to test was if you could get stacks and then travel and then keep those stacks. So the first thing I wanted to do for that is staying in the same area, just going to like the fast travel point, if you could keep it there. And then I also wanted to test completely changing areas and then seeing if the stacks stay. So I'm just going to get stacks here on Jack and then travel back to the sanctuary, fast travel back there, come back and see if we keep it. And then after that, I'm going to travel to Grave Ward and then come back and see if we keep it there. So right now we are up to 1819. So let's go ahead and travel back to the sanctuary fast travel station, and I will come back when I'm back at Handsome Jack. So we're back at Handsome Jack, and I think we were at 1819 or 1898 for our crits. And so basically, as long as it's not 1582, we would have kept our stacks by staying in the same place and just going to the fast travel station. So yep, we're up to 1898. So if you travel to a fast travel in the same location, you get to keep your stacks. So now I'm going to travel to Grave Ward and come back and see if we hit 1977 on our next shot. Okay, my game actually ended up crashing when I traveled to the floating tomb. So if my health is different, that's why I had to rethrow grenades at my feet. But either way, we're back below half health. And before I traveled there, I stacked back up to 1898 damage and traveled back here. So let's see if we keep that, and we should hit 1977 on the next shot if we do keep our stacks. Now, unfortunately, we do not keep our stacks. We're back to 1582, so that's quite unfortunate. So it doesn't matter how much your skills are actually boosting your damage. It's only going to be off of the base weapon damage for that gun. Now, the final thing I wanted to test with the St4ckbot class mod is if weapons with extra effects that do damage actually like reset your crit stacks. So with Ember's Purge, after you shoot somebody a couple times, there will be a lava puddle that spawns on the ground and deals damage to them. So I wanted to see if that lava puddle resets the crit stacks. And this, I would assume, would also be the exact same mechanics as a Jacob's like Ricochet. Unfortunately, it would be kind of tough to test that, like without dying and stuff like that. So if you guys want to test that on your own, you can, but for this video, I think I'm going to lump them in the same, but not 100% sure with the Jacob stuff. But with at least the Ember's Purge, the puddle actually resets our crit damage. So right now, let's go ahead and reset it here. So first shot is going to do 2108, then 22 and 23. And then hopefully we'll get a lava pool to spawn here. We're up to 29. So we're in the upper 3,000s, 4,000s now. Hopefully we'll get a puddle here in a second. I don't know why we're not. 5,000. So whatever reason, we're not getting a puddle. There we go. And so we were way up there in damage. And let's see where we're at now. See, we're all the way back down in the low 2,000s. So these extra gun effects actually reset your crit damage. So that is kind of a bummer, and I'm assuming the Jacob's weapons would work the same. I'm not 100% sure, but I would definitely assume so. So that's about all I wanted to test with the StackBot for today. The main reason I wanted to do all these tests with the StackBot is I am making a build with the StackBot right now. And it's almost done, but I just wanted to get these last few tests out of the way to know exactly what I need to build around. So if you guys enjoyed this video and you guys found it helpful, make sure to leave a thumbs up on the video to let me know. And if you guys want to see that flak build here within the next couple days or any other Borderlands content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.